Hmm. We are live, but I don't know where my camera's gone. That is so strange. My thing is saying we're live. Can you all hear me? I don't know what just happened. Oh, you see me? That's so weird. I don't see myself, but okay. You all see me. That is all right. That is weird. You see me, but I don't see me. Okay, good. Well, as long as you can see me and hear me, I don't see me. Oh, that's interesting. I'm positioned very oddly. Okay, good. Anyway, this is a really, really important topic, and I want to touch on this. Tell me when I'm angled in the middle, babe. I've just moved my camera slightly because I don't see myself at all. Am I middled? Okay, good. All right, good. Well, okay. First of all, I just want to talk about this really important matter, and I hope you all hit the share button. Tell me all where you're coming in from. My wife is telling me I'm okay. Am I middled? Well, okay. So first of all, welcome all of you, amazing people. Please hit the share button, hit the like button. Let me know where you're coming in from. Again, you can see me. I can't see myself. So if I look a little bit like all over the place, I'm not suffering from spatial awareness issues. I just can't see you. All right, so Cleveland, Mississippi, Waterford, Nigeria, Fayetteville, Houston, coming in from South Carolina, Georgia, Connecticut, all over the place. God bless you all. Really important discussion because today we've just heard the news. Elon Musk is the first trillionaire in the world, which, if you're a Christian, that's not true because you know, especially if you've been following me, that the first trillionaire in the world is Solomon, and his net worth was $3 trillion in his lifetime. Wealthiest black woman in the world, of course, not being Oprah, the Queen of Sheba, and her net worth was $1 trillion. But these people don't read their Bibles, so of course Elon Musk is the on record trillionaire. But the question is he? And when this news came, I was really quite stunned at the level of ignorance that's actually happening in the body of Christ. So I want to educate you. By the end of today, I want to show you. I don't just want to alarm you or startle you. I want to realign you. So first of all, my amazing 400,000 subscribers is correct. My prophetic economist, my sanctified conspiracy theorist, my redeemed analyst, my people who can smell Babylon with or without Wi-Fi. Welcome back. Now, some of you are watching me from your kitchen, from your car. Some may be pretending to work. Some of you are actually at work, maybe. And some of you, let's be honest, you've watched so much prophecy that your algorithm either thinks you are Edward Snowden or you're a national threat. And today, we're not doing shallow church. Today, I want to talk about money, systems, power, AI, and most importantly, how many of you have like 401ks, retirement accounts? If you have a retirement account, especially, let's say maybe you got a job with really good benefits, this could be like you're out when you're over 55 and you're looking to retire with your children. I want to let you know that today's news about Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire especially affects you. So if you're like retirement ready, or maybe you've got a 401k or you've got a retirement fund anywhere in the world, just say I do, because this is going to be especially specifically for you today. One of the biggest financial transitions, rather, in modern history just happened today because we have crossed into a new age, not just a technology age. And I know you probably think this is about AI and technology. Yes, partly so, but this is more so about the middle class. If you're a middle class person, just say me in the comment section so I know what we're talking, who I'm talking to. We're not just in a technology age. We've just crossed over today, whilst men slept. And I'm an Issacharite, so I've got to tell you times and seasons. I've got to tell you what to do. I see a lot of me's in the chat. We've just crossed into the capital age. What's the capital age? It's an age where ordinary people are unknowingly financing the machine that may eventually replace them. And listen, there's this wicked thing that happened in the UK because doctors ran out of organs. You remember that, babe? They ran out of organs for organ donorship. So they started doing this thing where instead of opting in to donate your organs, you simply opted out. So a lot of folks forgot to opt out, and somehow they ended up on the organ donor list, not because they opted in, but because they forgot they died without opting out. What a terrible thing. But when just today, whether you know it or not, analogously, we have just crossed into that age where you are about to pay for a man to become a trillionaire, whether you like it or not. If you are middle class, you are paying for Elon Musk to be a trillionaire. And I'm going to explain exactly how you're paying for it, how to opt out quickly if you don't know you're involuntarily already, as of today, opted in. Potentially, I'm gonna talk about that. So we're in an age where ordinary people are not only financing the machine, this new machine. And this new machine, by the way, it's not may, it will, if it hasn't already, 300 million jobs will be lost by this. It will already replace you. Now, before everybody panics and starts burying gold bars in the backyard next to grandma's prayer cloths, let me say this carefully. I'm not anti-technology. I've never been. Those of you who watched my prophecy yesterday will know that. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. I'm not anti-AI and I'm not anti-progress. AI is real. The future is real. It's already here. This technology shift is real. There's a difference between technology winning and investors winning. And that distinction is where people either build wealth or become exit liquidity. And my fear is that the middle class, whether you know it or not, you are becoming the cattle class. You are the cows being led for the slaughter right now. If you're listening, just type I'm listening. If you haven't shared yet, just expose yourself and say I haven't yet shared. Hit that share button right now because I believe as much of the middle class need to hear this as possible. And your share shows me that you care. Not only does it show me that you care, it helps me, it encourages me to keep continuing doing proof education. So please, if you want to encourage me to continue doing this and actually not just prophesying to you, but educating you behind the prophetic, then your share shows me that you are interested in this program, and I'll continue to do so. And I won't hammer on share, share, share. Now, let me explain this so simply that even the cousin who still thinks the cloud is actually somewhere in the sky will understand it. We're entering a season where some of the biggest companies in human history are preparing to go public. And of course, as you've heard today, Elon Musk has just IPO'd SpaceX. And if you hear the word IPO, it sounds like a venereal disease or some other thing that you may not even know about. But I'm going to explain all that today. So SpaceX is IPO'd, OpenAI will IPO soon. And of course, Anthropic is going to IPO. I'm so sorry, babe. We've got to get the kids. Take video for me. All right. And what most people don't understand is this. These companies don't merely need attention, they need capital. They need money, not little money, big money. And that money comes in the form of buyers. They don't just need few buyers, they need a lot of buyers. They need trillions of dollars worth of buyers. And there are not enough billionaires on earth to absorb the amount of buyers that they actually need. So the system is being adjusted so the buyer, whether you like it or not, becomes you. Some say, God forbid, in the chat, right? Not directly you, silently you. And literally, this just happened, by the way. So many people don't know about this. How did it happen? It's happening through retirement accounts, through pension funds, through index funds, and of course, those all too important 401ks that our parents scream at us to get. Meaning, while you are eating cereal, believing your retirement account is safe, it may already be preparing to buy the future at the highest prices in history. Now, before I go deeper, let me explain exactly what happened today so you can understand what is an IPO. If you don't know what an IPO is, just say, heard about it, not really sure what it is, or at least I pretend to know what it is by the water cooler at work every morning, right? Let me explain exactly what an IPO is, okay? An IPO simply means initial public offering, okay? So, what is basically happening is when a private company says, ladies and gentlemen, the doors are now open, you may finally buy shares in us. Here's the part nobody tells you. By the time the public is invited into the party, the insiders have already been eating for years. Okay. So just think about like this private company. You started this limited company and you want lots of money to take it to the next level. You can actually IPO your product, which means it floats on the stock exchange and shares get divvied up among lots of people to buy these shares, and these shares become investable money in the company. Okay, so the company may give a lot of the shares away to the public, and you may own $2 worth or $1 worth, and that share, depending on investment income, may go up or down. I hope that makes sense, and I'm going to explain it a little bit deeper for you to get it. But here's the part nobody tells you: by the time the public is invited into the party, okay, insiders, they've already got their piece of the pie, okay? The founders got in early, the venture capitalists got in early, the private investors got in early, the employees got stock early. Then suddenly the public arrives and says, wow, we finally have access. Oh my goodness, SpaceX can actually be bought on the stock exchange. Wow, this is great. No, beloved. You have access to the price they are ready to sell at. That is called exit liquidity. Now, before this becomes another big word like IPO, let me simplify what exit liquidity means. Okay. So imagine I bought land for $10,000 20 years ago. Now I want to sell it for $10 million. The issue is not whether the land is real. The issue is finding somebody willing to buy it at the final inflated price. Okay. And that's inflated 10,000 to $10 million. I got to find somebody who wants to buy this land that's worth $10,000 at $10 million. I hope you understand what I'm saying so far. That final buyer is called exit liquidity. And this transcript, what I'm trying to explain to you is that the retirement accounts may become the exit liquidity for the AI age. Okay, your hard worked income, because people know if a house is worth $10,000 and you're going to buy it at $10 million, nobody in their right sanctified mind is going to go, yeah, that sounds like a really good deal. You're going to say, how much did you get it for? 10,000. I'm selling it for 10 million. Why? Well, because I want to, right? So nobody in the right mind is going to buy a property valued at $10,000 for $10 million unless they're forced to. Now, what I'm trying to explain to you today is that your hard-earned income is going to be forced. Your 401k, your retirement fund, your index fund, whether you like it or not, is going to be forced into purchasing that without your permission. Now, I want to talk quickly about NASDAQ, okay? For those of you who understand what NASDAQ is like basically the VIP club for technology companies. Think about Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon. These are the heavyweights, right, of the tech world. But here's the key: most people don't buy these companies individually anymore. They buy index funds. If you bought index funds, just say, I bought it. I got it. If you don't know what NASDAQ is, but you've seen it on like Bloomberg and you're like, oh, NASDAQ has just reached blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what is this? What is NASDAQ? What is it even talking about? Let me explain what NASDAQ is. Think about a big catalog of all the top companies in the world, what we call too big to fail companies. They're massive. They all just get together into this nice big conglomerate, and you decide you are going to buy stock in these companies, indexed companies. Now, why do stockbrokers sell them? Because they're too big to fail. They're companies that we can foresee being around for many years. That means your 401k is likely being invested in there, that your pension is likely being invested there, and retail investors are investing in this safety fund, right? Safety fund. Most people don't buy these companies individually anymore. So they buy what we call index funds. Now, an index fund is basically a basket. You're not choosing apples individually. Just think about a fruit basket, okay? You're buying the entire fruit basket. So if apple is in the basket, you own apple. If there's bananas in the basket, you own bananas. If there's pears in the you basically own all the groceries. You don't just buy one product, okay? I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. So that means by buying this index fund called NASDAQ, you own a little bit of Apple, you own a little bit of Nvidia, and you own a little bit of Amazon. Now, just think about this. If SpaceX enters the basket, which it just has today, okay, your retirement fund may automatically buy SpaceX, whether you personally wanted to or not. Now, it's just happened. Now, this is where things become fascinating because NASDAQ just changed its rules. Recently, in order to be approved to enter into these too big to fail conglomerates like NASDAQ, a fast entry system allowing massive IPOs to enter has just been introduced. Before, it would take months, sometimes even years, but now giant companies can enter the index after only about 15 trading days instead of waiting much longer. This trend is literally basically saying that we are forcing, if you're awake to it, we're literally forcing you, whether you like it or not, to buy this $10 million property that we bought at $10,000. Right? Now, it sounds boring until you understand the implications, okay? Because if you look closely at the fine print, devil's always in the detail. Issachar people, are you with me? Are you awake? Okay? There are hundreds of billions of dollars sitting in passive investment funds that automatically buy whatever enters that index. So passive investing means the money does not think, it just flows. It obeys like a financial river. The basket changes and the river follows. So imagine somebody changes the route of the river toward a new city. Suddenly, billions of dollars begin flowing there automatically. That's what index inclusion means. Now, hope you're understanding this so far. Let's talk about float. Float means how many shares are actually available for the public to buy. Now, this is where it gets juicy, okay? I'm going to break down float for you for a second. Imagine a church like mine. Let's say my church had 100 seats, okay? But only five I'm making available to visitors. That's called a float. I have 100 seats, but I'm going to keep 100 and I'm going to make five available for sale to you. I'm going to say there are only 5 seats available, even though I have 100 seats. Now, historically, NASDAQ required a minimum public float, but companies like SpaceX, which just IPO'd today, for trillions of dollars, reportedly plan to list with extremely low public floats. What does that mean? If I say I only have 5 seats left, I can literally sell you those 5 seats at a supremely inflated price, even though I have 100 seats available. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Scarcity means the value is being forced up, whether I like it or not. Exactly. Somebody says evil. So is Elon Musk really a trillionaire or is he an evil genius, right? Meaning very few shares are available yet. There's massive demand. And now the rules were literally just adjusted to accommodate this new structure. I'm telling you, the Bible says, whilst men slept, this wicked farmer came and sowed chaff among the wheat. Now, why does this matter? Because if massive retirement funds are forced to buy and only a tiny number of shares or church seats are available, prices will explode upwards. This means that the cost of that seat will be extremely overpriced in comparison to what's available. So, is Elon Musk a trillionaire, or is Elon Musk literally selling you scarce seats, knowing he owns more seats, to drive up deliberately and engineer demand or by limiting supply? This is why some analysts are saying we may be entering one of the largest bubbles in history. Now, hear me clearly. A bubble does not mean something is fake. Okay, the railroad was real. The internet was real. Fiber optics were real. Electricity was real, but something can be technologically revolutionary. and financially catastrophic for what we call early investors. That is one of the greatest misunderstandings in the investing game. So people think if the technology changes the world, investors automatically win. And that's not true. The technology can win while investors get destroyed. Think about all of these technologies that are winning today, like World Wide Web. We had the web, the internet bust that happened, and lots of investors lost their money, but the internet still won. That means technology wins whilst investors, or what we call early investors, get destroyed. The railroad changed America forever. But many railroad investors went bankrupt. Fiber optic cables built the internet you're using right now, but many companies that laid the cable collapsed first. Technology won, right? The first wave investors all lost. And this is where the Issachar anointing matters. Where my Issachars at? Where my Issachars at? Listen, if you haven't yet hit the share button and the like button, I gotta pause here to say your share, your like encourages me and it tells me that you like this program and you want us to continue Prof Education. Remember, I told you it's going to start as an experiment. I'm going to fail upwards. I'm going to try and post every day. I've already failed at that. But if you continue to like these programs and you don't just want to hear me prophesy, you want to hear me educate you as well in the prophetic, because we need wisdom and revelation. Your share does that. Your subscribe does that. So subscribe, share, like, so that I know you want me to continue with these programs. Okay. So again, back to this. This is where Scott comes in. There are what we call first wave investors and second wave investors. The first wave fund the dream. Okay. These are the people that are going to pay for Elon Musk to literally become a trillionaire by contributing to this big AI boom, this tech boom. They're going to literally just see this thing floating and they're going to be like, yay, it's time to buy quickly. Let's just invest in SpaceX, right? Because the news told us to do so. The second wave, buy the infrastructure after the collapse. So the first wave says, this changes everything. The second wave says, yes, and now I'll buy it at 90% discount. The first wave buys emotion. The second wave buys the aftermath. The first wave buys financial hype. The second wave acquires assets, and that's where wealth transfer happens. That's the liquid gold. The railroad companies collapse. Then another generation bought the tracks for pennies and became wealthy. The dot-com bubble burst, and another generation bought the internet infrastructure cheap and built empires. The question is not, will AI survive? AI is surviving. Question is, at what price should you buy the future? Now let's go deeper. AI is expensive, painfully expensive. AI requires data centers, electricity. And my next Prophet Education is going to talk about how it requires a lot of water, right? Cooling systems, semiconductors, land, power grids, infrastructure. So this is not just software. This is industrial civilization. And the problem is the AI economy needs trillions of dollars before it becomes consistently profitable. So the question becomes, who is going to finance this build out? Okay. It needs not millions, not billions, trillions. And according to Larry Fink from BlackRock, a huge amount of the money will come from pensions, savings, retirement systems, insurance capital, and private investment flows. In plain English, the future is being financed by you, the ordinary people. Now let's talk about this accounting trick, okay? There is this massive accounting trick, and this part is really important, okay? If I can just bring your mind in on this. Imagine I give you $100, then you use that $100 to buy something from me, okay? I gave you the $100, okay? Follow this. You use that $100 to buy something from me. I, in my tax report revenue, then I invest more money into you. Okay. Basically, I gave you money, you use the money I gave you to buy from me, and I report revenue. then use that money to buy more services from me. From the outside, it looks like my business is booming, but internally, what's going on is money. It's just simply circling from you back to me, to you, back to me. This is what many analysts are worried about with AI. Big tech invests in AI startups. The startups then spend massive money renting cloud computing back from the big tech companies that literally sold it to them. And then they report revenue. Somebody's getting this, okay? So the investor funds the startup pays the investor's cloud business, the investor reports growing revenue, the stock price rises, more investment flows in, the cycle continues. Now, let me be clear, this doesn't mean AI is fake. It means some people are questioning whether the current earnings being reported fully reflect sustainable organic demand. So, what we're seeing right now with the AI tech bubble is people saying, oh, yes, we're actually growing, when really they're not growing. They're just incestuously passing money back and forth around each other and reporting these fake revenue numbers. So by the time the business is evaluated, it's worth trillions of dollars when really it's worth millions of dollars. And of course, a company worth trillions of dollars will make people think, I'm going to invest more. And this distinction matters enormously. Now, let me define something called CAPEX. CAPEX means capital expenditure, okay? Money spent building future capacity. Many of us, if you understand the word capex, just type capex. If you don't understand capex, I'm just going to explain it quickly. Capex means capital expenditure, capex, capital expenditure, okay? Money spent building future capacity. So we bought a church. That church building brought us into a lot of debt, but it's money spent building the future. It's called capex. If Amazon builds a data center, that's called capex. If Microsoft builds thousands of AI chips, that's called capex. And right now, big tech companies are spending unbelievable amounts of money on AI infrastructure, hundreds of billions. The danger is simple. They are spending today as though tomorrow's profits are guaranteed. But you and I both know, who have lived through the housing crash, the banks crash, the dot-com bubble, that tomorrow is never guaranteed. Now, if we talk about earning bubbles, most people think bubbles happen because stock prices become insane. That is a valuation bubble. If you're taking notes, just write it down, valuation bubble. But an earning bubble, which we're talking about, is more dangerous because the company looks healthy, like we just said. It looks like money's passing around. It looks like it's a healthy company. But really, incestuously, these tech companies are just buying and selling to each other and then reporting great profits that they don't actually have. They're simply revenue sharing. The profits look strong. The PE ratios look reasonable. But the earnings themselves are inflated. Temporary enthusiasm, accounting gains, circular spending, artificial demand. It's like a man appearing rich because he leased three luxury, I don't know, Rolls Royces while secretly drowning in debt. From outside, success. From inside, pressure to repay. Now, here is why believers must understand this moment prophetically. Okay, here. Am I talking too low? I hope somebody said it, I'm talking too low. Well, just listen in. Listen in if I'm talking too loud. I can talk loud. I'm just trying to make sure my baby, who is here in this corner, doesn't wake up. So please forgive me if I'm talking low. Somebody said I'm fine. Some said I can hear. Okay, good. My baby's right here. Okay, so please just forgive me if I'm talking too low. Okay. Ooh, Lord, somebody just called me dude. All right, my friend, we're not dudes. We are I'm just here helping out, okay? Let's not do the familiarity thing, okay? All right. Now here is why believers must understand this moment prophetically. The same workers funding this AI boom through retirement systems may eventually force wage pressure from the same automation that they financed. Now, I need you to understand the tension. Workers are financing systems that may reduce the future need for workers. I'm going to say that again. Workers are financing systems that may reduce the future need for workers. That's the crossing we have entered. If the church doesn't understand economics, we will call every transfer innovation while missing the mechanism underneath it. Let's discuss market concentration. Right now, the market is becoming dependent on fewer and fewer companies, meaning the broader economy appears healthy while increasingly being held up by a tiny handful of giant AI related stocks. It's like building with a beautiful wallpaper, but only three pillars holding the whole thing up. If one pillar cracks, everybody suddenly discovers how fragile the structure actually was. The geopolitical layers there as well, because economics never exist in isolation. Oil matters, shipping routes matter, as we've just discovered with the Strait of Hormuz. War matters, interest rates matters. If energy prices spike, everything becomes more expensive. If oil rises sharply, countries scramble for dollars. When countries scramble for dollars, they sell assets. Bond markets shake, interest rates rise, borrowing becomes more expensive, and suddenly highly leveraged AI spending becomes harder to sustain. This is why timing matters. The insiders may understand the window is narrowing, meaning raise money now, go public now, capture passive flows now before the environment changes. It's just think of it like your those crazy Apple television sets that people were wandering around. I don't know if you remember. What were they called again, babe? Those big headsets that my brother bought. The big Apple, what do you call it? Is the Apple VR headsets, right? Think of it like those big television Apple VR headsets. You remember people were just walking around in the street looking really daft with their Apple VR headset whilst they were Apple Vision Pro. That thing went so bust, but just think all these early investors got in quickly because they were excited by the buzz of the new, right? And this thing will literally come for those who are just excited by the buzz. Oh, Elon's a trillionaire. Let me cash in on his trillions, right? What you believers do. Number one, let's finish here. Don't panic. Panic is not prophecy. Okay? Come on, just say don't panic. Number two, know what you own. Some believers think I'm conservative. I only own index funds. Meanwhile, the index fund is 40 to 50% exposed to mega cap AI and technology concentration right now, as of today. That's not ignorance, that is hidden concentration. And so know what you own, know your assets. And to part of knowing what you own means develop a healthy balance of digital assets. That means non real estate assets like indexes, stocks, funds, treasury, bonds. And develop a hard asset, a house, something you can touch, something that's real, real gold, not just gold floating somewhere against the Japanese yen, but real gold, real silver, something tangible as well. Balance those things out. Okay. Third, diversify intelligently, not emotionally, not fearfully, wisely, right? Uh, Solomon said it like this in Ecclesiastes. He said, "Cast your bread on many waters because you don't know which one is going to return back to you. So don't just put everything in your 401k trust or whatever it is you got. Diversify. Fourth, hold liquidity. In in every crash, cash is king. The people who survive downturns are often not merely the smartest, they're the people who still have buying power when everyone else is forced to sell. Fifth, study second wave investing. This is really crucial. The first wave always builds hype. The second wave always builds wealth. The first wave pays the premium prices. The second wave buys distressed infrastructure. So, what might second wave investing look like in the AI age? Land near data corridors. So, things like land banking. So, you maybe look on a website where all these data centers are being built. Maybe 100 acres has been bought by Amazon to build a data center, and just buy a plot of land right next to it. Why? Because in a few years, Amazon's going to be like, we need a few more data centers, right? And because you've banked on that piece of land, that land now becomes extremely financially critical to Amazon, who will be prepared to pay top dollar for what you probably purchased for $700,000 before. Okay. So, energy infrastructure, water infrastructure, cooling technologies, utility systems, semiconductor supply chains. Just think about this. If Claude ever crashes, if OpenAI ever goes through a bust, these are recession proof necessities. These are the train tracks that will then be sold at low prices and bought at low prices when everything goes down. Semiconductor supply chains, industrial real estate, fiber networks, grid modernization, rare earth logistics. Because AI is not floating in heaven speaking in tongues. AI sits on land, it drinks water, it consumes electricity, it requires cooling, it requires building, it requires chips, it requires transmission systems, which means the real wealth transfer may not only be in flashy AI apps, it may be in the boring stuff. And listen, if you ever want to know what makes people wealthy, it's the boring stuff that makes them wealthy. Stop going for the sexy, or I'm gonna invest in Claude, I'm gonna invest in this. It's really the chips, the data centers, the land banking, the water cooling systems, all of these things that AI requires. The people selling picks and shovels during a gold rush often become wealthier than the miners themselves. And beloved, data centers are the factories of tomorrow. The AI age runs on physical infrastructure, and that means some of the most strategic assets of the next decade may be energy, land, water, cooling, storage, infrastructure, and again, utility access and skills. Please never forget skills. The safest investment may not only be stocks, it may be becoming difficult to replace. So, people who can lead, discern, build trust, sell, create SaaS systems. If you don't know what SaaS is, maybe we'll talk about that next time. Interpret complexity, build communities. You can literally go on websites right now that can tell you the top 10 things that big companies are struggling with, and go on Claude and build a SaaS, a system to solve that problem and sell it to that top company for millions of dollars, and they'll buy it from you. So there's lots of ways. There's lots of ways. You shouldn't be sleeping tonight. You shouldn't be sleeping this weekend. This weekend, you should just download Claude and figure out with your whole life how you're going to find companies. You and your husband should sit down and look for companies that are struggling with different things, and just call them and say, "Hey, I built this." But you don't even have to build the thing. You can tell Claude, build a model so I can sell it to this company, and then call Amazon, call whichever company, and say, "I've just built this whole system that solves your problem, and all I need is $10 million, and it's yours." And before you know it, overnight, you've just sold a whole SaaS system that you made on Claude in 2 minutes. This is what these big companies are looking for, young people with AI ideas, whilst AI is still in its infancy, that can actually help them solve problems. AI may automate information, but wisdom still compounds. Now, hear this carefully, Iskar. The greatest transfers in history rarely announce themselves as transfers. They announce themselves as progress. They call it innovation, infrastructure, exposure, efficiency, the future. But the wise ask deep questions. Here's the deep question you want to ask yourself: who funds it? Who owns it? Who profits? Who carries the risk? Who exits early? Who enters late? Who's left holding the bag? And perhaps the greatest question of all, at what price are they asking the public to buy the future? Because this may not merely be the public being invited into the future, just like the classic case of the opt out of the donor list, this may be you being drafted to finance it. And that's why discernment matters now more than ever. Welcome to the AI age. Welcome to the beginnings of the capital wars. Welcome to the age where the machine is hungry and it has discovered retirement money. And I love you all, my 400,000 Issacharites. I love you too much to let you fall for the game that the spirit of the age is playing with your finance. Remember, the children of Issachar understood the times and seasons and knew what Israel ought to do. And that's what profeducation is about. It's not just about revelation, it's about giving you the wisdom to know exactly what to do. Knowing times and seasons can make you panic, but knowing what to do will make you productive. If you have enjoyed this time, show me. Hit the share button, hit the like button. The more people view this, the more it encourages me to say, keep going, because sometimes people just want you to prophesy. They're like, prophesy to me, prophesy to me. And I got so tired of prophesying to people, you know, because I realize a lot of people love prophetic words more than they love prophetic action and wisdom and know-how. And so it doesn't mean I'm going to stop prophesying. It just means profeducation is the bridge between prophesying and actually getting to work. And so if you're one of those people ready to work, you know what to do, you want to roll your sleeves up, make sure you like, share, subscribe. And in case you haven't heard, my team and I got together to build this website called understandmydream.com. Classic example of a SaaS, by the way. We figured out that there's this gap, get all these messages from hundreds of people every day. Can you interpret my dream? Can you tell me what my dream means? Probably tell me. And I used to do all these classes, and before you know it, you have thousands of people, and you're only one person. So I said, how do I train this model, this automation model to interpret dreams using my system? And that's where we came up with Understand My Dream, not S. S will take you to another website, dream.com, which literally takes any dream you have and it will decode it for you. It will show you how I use the symbols and explain it. It can't interpret because that's what the Holy Spirit does in you, but it will decode. And you will see that as your dreams and visions are being decoded, you're just catching concepts so much quicker. So be sure to check that out. Link is in the description. You can try it out for free. It's right there. Understandmydream.com. God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed this time. I will see you again Monday morning. God bless.